Hello, friends. Good afternoon to all of you. I wrote a essay today about India and Maldives relationship. The reason for which I am emphasizing particularly this country because it this country doesn't have any uh, global significance, but it does have some sort of significance for India. That's why uh, in few weeks or past some days, there is hue and cry here and there about the India's Maldives relationship. The current government, everybody is well known that what is development right now in between these two countries. The very short, I'm going to tell you, the very recent elected president uh, is unprovoked, unnecessary, undiplomatic maneuvering of his foreign policy is actually annoying India. When he elected as a sovereign nation, you can make your own decision. I have no question about that. You can do it. But abusing somebody, having a undiplomatic behavior, showing undiplomatic behavior is unacceptable. Undiplomatic communication. If you are talking about the relationship between two countries, you cannot do such kind of things. So you must have to behave in a diplomatic manner. The way you adopted is unacceptable to any diplomatic communication. You are making unnecessary comments into the media. 88 Indian soldiers, 88 Indian soldiers, uh, mostly the Navy personnel are present there, who is helping actually uh, Maldivian citizens. I would tell you in my essay to all the developments. But if you have any problem with these soldiers, you can communicate with a diplomatic channel with India, and you can meet with India, and India's mission is there, and you can visit India if you have any issue. As you are saying that 100, 100, 100, 100 bilateral agreements have been signed between the two countries. You have to understand the level of agreement between in these two nations in past government. So they want to review it. So they can talk diplomatically. They can come to India. India's committee can discuss with them in office. After that, you can communicate to the media press. But you are creating unnecessary voice. You are making India a villain. We have helped you and we are helping you. I don't have any problem with you and your citizens, but particularly this government is unnecessary, unprovoked, undiplomatic way of behavior that they are showing is unacceptable to me. Important thing is geostrategic location of this Maldives is particularly important for India because it is very much approximate closer to India's coastal region and in Indian Ocean, which is India's backyard. If any if any rival power, particularly China, is our India's enemy, showing its presence in its backyard. It's, you know, uh, alerts India, and we are it sends as a warning to it, warning to us. It is very hard to retain impartiality. It is my argument for Maldives that it is very hard for Maldives to retain impartiality in a situation where two competing powers playing in each other on the same ground. It would be very hard for the Maldives to retain its impartiality. The current development as the recent elected president is pro-China and anti-India openly. My argument is why Maldives is so frustrated with India. I would argue that for this answer, South Asian nations, these are 7, 8 countries in South Asia, are fundamentalist, religious fundamentalist in their part and partial of their life. Look at Pakistan. Even the Muslims are divided in sectarian and they don't have cooperation. They fight here and there somewhere. So there is also an issue. And the religious differences in these particular regions. I will give the answer example for this as well. They find hard to separate themselves from religious affiliation. Maldives population 90% are the plus percent of the Muslims and fundamentalists mostly are as a being as a political opposition as a domestic rival of other political party of Maldives, which was the pro-India, Mr. Soli, the former president of former administration of Maldives, was pro-India. And being as a opposition and fundamentalistic in nature, this particular government, which is elected in September 2023, is now anti-India. The argument is they are the fundamentalist, religious fundamentalist. Uh, so that's my argument first. Elected president claims that India questions the sovereignty of Maldives. This is a farce. Farce. It is not true. No evidence on either India's claim, neither India claim in any way. India respects sovereignty of all states according to international laws of United Nations. Instead of this, instead of that, we supported being as an immediate neighbor of Maldives. We cared them and supported them, and we supported them many occasions. Either it is a coup attempt, 1988, or a flood or disaster time. We supported infrastructure and capacity building measures. Many infrastructure we have developed, bridges, because many islands are separated to each other. So we have linked through their infrastructure projects. We have supported, we have given grants, aid financially. The people of Maldives are the great friend of India, no doubt about this. Sometimes politicians play on political chessboard their politics. So this is particularly the pure politics. The particularly this government is playing in the hands of China. And third component is China's funding and political support of anti-India and pro-China sentiment, corrupt politicians, and playing in the hand of China. You can see that 5 days visit of this president, red carpet visit. My third argument is how should India deal with them? How should India deal with them? As India is a neighbor and India has invested a lot of goodwill to the Maldives and its people. Everybody know well that India is their good friend in need and indeed a trusted partner. Elected president got 54% votes, does not represent the will of entire population of Maldives. Threat perceptions, fears of India against the sovereignty of Maldives is or was a false propaganda of opposition because they wanted power grabbing by this mechanism at the cost of their foreign affairs. It would be harmful for the Maldives. In a democracy, peoples vote for the change because democracy is dynamic in nature. Democracy is a social contract of people. In contrast of the elections, foreign affairs have many weightage. Some weightage, foreign affairs is some weightage, foreign relationship, but the domestic matter does also a matter most. So the elected president doesn't mean that they only pursue aggressive policy against the foreign states. The elected president aggressive policy may backfire Maldives. So they should think twice if they are acting like this. A childish policy, I see that. Ministers use absurd derogatory language against Prime Minister in India. What sort of mental mechanism they have developed? While which acting like this because it would be the test of India's patience. Because it would be the test of India's patience if the Chinese presence threatens India's sovereignty. If the Chinese presence threatens India's sovereignty, then India is entitled to defend itself and its interest, as Russia is doing in Ukraine. We should invest in Maldives, being as a good neighbor, and expect the vice versa. But current regime showing no color of friendship. It would not be wise to completely disengage with the island and give the China free way to roam. We need vigil to keep watch the recent development and love of China with Maldives. Second thing, we should also participate in the development space that is given to us in the Maldives, which is very narrow space because most of the spaces will be and shall be occupied by the China. But we need it as we are doing it, not completely abandoned. Very recently, on our high level core group, when the elected president came returned from the China, our high-level core group met with the Maldives counterpart, and they discussed bilateral relations, expecting the cooperation on ongoing projects, on finding a workable solution to enable uh, continued operation of Indian aviation platforms that provides humanitarian and medvac medical evacuation services to the purpose of Maldives. We have invested a lot of donated even aircraft, some sort of for medical assistance and some sort of surveillance as well to them. And he said that they are cooperating uh, in limited space, and he is saying that Mali will review 100 bilateral agreements with the New Delhi signed by the previous government. So that's okay. They can review. Uh, just I'm claiming that we should participate with the space that is left for us. Global exposure. It is the same situation like Cuba and Russia relationship that annoys the United States. You know, the Cuba is also the problem as an island nation for United States, as India in case of Maldives. I also thought that patience is the virtue. We should patiently wait for our chance. As China waited, as Mr. Soli was the president, former president, and not to dismantle relationship further, let's cooperate and watch. Punishment is not an option until unless they don't threaten our sovereignty. China's presence, if any kind of presence in this region, would not be accepted and will not be accepted. I'm not threatening. I am showing my own, you know, national interest, and we will not see, and we would not want to see it like that. The punishment is not an option. Punishment means, I mean, the not physical punishment or military punishment, hard power punishment. I am saying that economic punishment. 2 lakh plus people visiting every year to Maldives and contributing Maldivian economy. Millions of dollars pouring into their economy. Uh, they, uh, they, can, they can also stop if this kind of thing happen, but it will hurt the Maldivian citizens. So that would not be a nice thing. That's why my argument is punishment is not an option because it will hurt the future relationship as well, and long damaging impact would be, and it would be the disastrous to the people of Maldives, which is innocent. Coercive diplomacy only if our tourists stop going to Maldives will hurt the economy in millions. That would be the that would be borne by the people of Maldives. So that's why we don't advocate